Assalamu alaikum, everyone. New podcast, new guest, and today our guest is Mr. Shavkat Karimov. So, how are you doing?
Good, good. How are you?
Same, good. So, can you introduce yourself? Who are you? What do you do? And so on.
Yeah, my name is Shavkat Karimov. I'm a head of IT Community of Uzbekistan. We're pretty big right now, 6,000 members. We're based on LinkedIn. Previously, I was a head of SEO at Microsoft for 3 years and then vice president of SEO at Bolt. Bolt is an international company, a leader in resumes, cover letters, job search, careers, this kind of fields.
Got you. Like, if you don't know this guy went to America in order to make a film and went to Microsoft as an SEO specialist. And now he's in Uzbekistan again. So, can we start about your childhood?
Childhood, yeah. So I'm born in Uzbekistan, but raised both in Uzbekistan and multiple other countries.
And which city, by the way?
Karshi.
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 Which year, if you know?
So it's Kashkadarya region. Which year? It's 1977.
1977,
Yeah.
okay.
So it's Kashkadarya region, very south of Uzbekistan. For those who don't know Uzbekistan and listening to us globally, hopefully. But I traveled a lot from my childhood. When I was even 2 years old, I lived in Afghanistan for 2 years.
Actually, there was a war at that time, or not?
Exactly, yeah, it was wartime.
And what was the reason for going there?
So the reason is that if your dad or if someone goes there with a family, they don't send this person for lethal operations. Like if you're just alone, they will send you, and a lot of people died there. So my mom decided to take us as kids, me and my brother, and the whole family moved there, so he's not sent to these different operations. But once he was sent to something pretty bad, and 10 people were sent for that operation. 8 of them died. 2 of them came back, him and the other person. The other person died in the hospital, and he had 2 wounds. So it was like brutal there.
Okay, so how you felt there in Afghanistan as a 2-year-old kid?
Yeah, so when I was a kid, I was like, there was one story I'll just tell you. A siren, right? Like alarm, big alarm. Something is happening. So the dushmans, as we call them, right? The bad guys, the enemies, exactly. They were like entering the city. And, Soviet military unit was just like in one city in Kabul, for instance, in certain different areas and districts. So they come and we understand something is happening, right? So we hide and everything. For us as kids, there was a rule. If you hear the sirens, you go under the metal bed because metal bed can protect you, right? And when I'm sitting under that bed with my toys and my brother, right, I see the grenade coming to our balcony.
Oh, God.
And sweeping around like that, with the little noise. And my mom takes some, wet material and throws it away, and it blows there in the air. So we could die like that day. So this kind of memories. So it's an actual war.
Your childhood wasn't that simple.
I was just like one episode that I remember because I was 2, right? So for me, it was just like playing games, Our toys were like, little kind of guns and, little bullets and things like that. So that's how we played.
Good. And what about school?
No school there. We were too small. But yeah, then my first school was in Turkmenistan, in Ashgabat. At that time, it was called Ashgabat, right? I even remember the number. It was number 6. It was in the center of the city, and our military unit was like far from the city. I think it was like 18 kilometers from the city. So it took me, once the bus that was taking all the students, like every day, it would drive us there and then drive us back in the evening. So when it was going back, they forgot about me. So I was standing there. I was like, what's going on? And I went by my feet to that because I knew where it is. It was just like very simple road. You just like go straight and left. And it took me, I think, 4 or 5 hours to get there by my feet. In Ashgabat, which is like a lot of sand, right? It's a desert, right? You are like super, super hot. You just go there.
So to be clear, you spent your childhood in Afghanistan, yep?
Yeah, just 2 years actually. Yeah. Mostly it's in Karshi, yeah.
Okay. So you didn't study at school, or?
Yeah, then I went when I was 7, like normal kids. I went to school in Turkmenistan, like my first year, and until grade 3. So the first 2 years was in one school, number 6, and then school number 39 was my 3rd year, and then we moved to Tashkent.
So you graduated school. What's next?
Then University of World Economy and Diplomacy in Tashkent, for 4 years. 4 years. International Law Department, the faculty.
And why law? Like, what are you interested in, or?
Nope, not that much. It was the most prestigious university at that time.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, all the daughters of the president studied there, all the big people's children, all the mafia children, all the businessmen children.
So like, it was due to networking?
Nah, at that time I was like 17. I didn't understand much. So
you didn't care, to be honest.
Yeah, for my parents basically. Just they said this university is really good. I said, okay.
So you were born in Uzbekistan, yep, and you moved to Afghanistan, then Turkmenistan. Now you're studying at University of Law. And how you moved to like filmmaking?
Yeah, actually between before Turkmenistan there was Russia, so we lived 3 years in Moscow as well. When I was a kid, I was like there going to the kindergarten. I was like 4, 5, 6, and then Turkmenistan, and then films. Yeah, back to Russia. So I actually at that time after university I went to work in Belgium as a lawyer and also as a cotton trader. So because Uzbekistan was producing a lot of cotton at that time, Belgium was buying it and then distributed it across Europe. So I was like one of those traders. But it was so boring. I hated it. And then I decided, okay, I need to do something more interesting in my life. And this is how I got fond of films. I started everything online and I thought, yeah, that's not enough. I need to get some formal education. So I came back to Uzbekistan and I was flying business class all the time, right? Because, you know, I was pretty rich at that time, working for some big company called Louis Dreyfus, like one of the richest families in the world still, like top 25 richest families. And so I was flying back from Amsterdam to Tashkent, and normally, you know, business class was like 3 times expensive at the time than economy, so it was empty most of the time, right? Like a couple people. But this time there were like a lot of people. I was surprised. So they arranged something. I don't know. There were some people, you know, they are not business people. They're looking poor a little bit. And I was like, you know, 20-something years old. I was like so, you know, nervous and frustrated. And they were talking to one another. Like one is sitting next to me, another like in the front seat. And they were talking. And I was like, guys, can you like keep it down, please?
So it was annoying, yep.
Very annoying. So then they said, yeah, sorry. Because they were actually going from Seattle, which appeared in my life later on, I'll tell you, to Amsterdam, then to New York, and then to Amsterdam, and then New York. So, of course, it was frustrating for them as well because they were tired. But they were like keeping it down. And then in the very end, so the airplane is landing in Tashkent airport. And I was just like cooling down. And I asked the guy, like, what do you guys do for a living? And he's like, we're filmmakers. And I was going with all my thoughts about how to become a filmmaker, going back to Tashkent. I was sitting 7 hours with this guy. I didn't talk to him because of my character. I was like, oh my God, give me your card. He found some crappy, really bad-looking card, business card. He gave it to me. I had actually at that time, I had a nice card. I gave it to him. So we exchanged with some information. We talked later on. I invited him to our office and he said, okay, you know what? You can study here in Uzbekistan for filming. There's some theatrical institute or something like that, or Institute of Arts, whatever. But he said, you better go to Russia. The best education is there. And then you'll thank me later because it's really awesome. So I did. I went, applied. They got accepted and I went and I started there for 2.5 years in Moscow.
Cool. So like, to be more clear, like your childhood, like you were not a simple boy. You did kind of business, like flights, like business flights.
Yeah, well, it's not childhood.
You were kind of businessman or what?
No, I was just working for some rich company as the pretty good level, and that's why I was making good money. So.
And the question is, like, when you were young, how you get your education? Like, I don't think it's like via school. Like, how did you get your education? Like, from what?
Yeah, reading a lot. That's what I recommend to people, like to self-educate, like always, because education is behind today's probably more than 5 years now than from reality. Like, wherever you study at different, university schools, you might be late. Books are also late, by the way, because there's some, publishing process that takes it there. So read a lot of blogs, like articles on the blogs, posts. And then watch videos, on YouTube and other channels, like other websites, like, Vimeo and others. Listen to podcasts as well, for sure, because there's a lot of useful information there, valuable stuff, because that's very up to date. So that's how I did educate myself, and I recommend others to educate themselves.
Okay, got it. So, like, when you started filmmaking, what age?
20.
20. So you were studying at university and making film at the same time?
Because it was assignments, like diploma, and not diploma. First it was like course work, right? You need to do some short films. It was all short films. It's not like big movies.
Got it. Like, Can you name one of your movies? Like,
Yeah. The whole project was that I created that kind of took off a little bit. It's called Cine Dictum, CINEDICTUM. What it means is that something like films aphorisms, Cine Dictum. I was able to sell them worldwide to different distributors, short little airline companies where you travel for just 20 minutes. They can't show you the feature
whole film.
Whole film, yeah. So they want to buy something shorter.
Short,
And my movies were no dialogue, so you can, and they're available on YouTube, so anybody can go and check. I was like 20 years old, so keep that in mind. But they're pretty nice.
We'll
pretty
put
funny.
the link below just in case.
Yeah, YouTube. Just search on YouTube Cine Dictum. You'll find it.
So like you haven't made any kind of big films in Uzbekistan?
Never. Yeah.
Okay, and then how did you go to America? Like for Uzbeks, like it's kind of dream to go to America, like American dream. Lots of people play like green cards and so on.
Yeah.
Was it kind of your dream, to be honest, from your childhood? You want to go to America?
Yeah.
And for what? Like filming?
No. I loved America my entire teenage ages, like from maybe when I first heard about America, like what it is, like about freedom, these kind of things. Maybe I was like 12, I don't know. But since then, I always dreamt to go there, right?
So you had that American dream?
Yeah, I did, yeah. So how I got there, I played the lottery as well, green card lottery. Didn't work. But my dad won the lottery. It was funny. My dad won a lottery. Him and my mom went there, and me, I was like 2 months older. You have to be 21 or younger to be included as part of the family. I was like 2 months older.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately. My brother was like 1 year older. So I was like, oh, okay, it didn't work. And then years later, I applied for a visa called EB1A.
Can you like introduce what it is?
Yeah, it's extraordinary alien visa. So if you hold some kind of exceptional abilities in something, they will give you this visa. It's not that hard to get, to be honest. There are 10 requirements. If you meet the 3 of those, they'll give you the visa. So it's actually a green card. It's an immigration visa.
Okay. So you went to America for living?
Yeah.
So what was the first job that you do in America?
All right. So at that time, I was already a filmmaker with a dream, right, to go to Hollywood. So I first.
So you went to America with your camera, like in.
Yeah. I was like super ready to break
to Hollywood.
Hollywood, yeah. So I went to Florida. We had a house there because my parents already lived there, and near the ocean. It was super fun, but no jobs, right? So I actually drove to Los Angeles, to heart of Hollywood. And applied, showed my movies, knocked a lot of doors. Nobody's interested. Yep. It's like, it's really hard. But then I ran out of my money pretty quickly in less than a month. It's super expensive to live there. So I thought I need to find another job. So I started applying. I saw this job called SEO manager, and this is how I got into my profession, SEO, search engine optimization.
Yeah. So by the way, so you left Uzbekistan, but what about university here?
Yeah, I finished. I graduated.
You have already finished it.
Yeah. Both universities. I have 2 diplomas actually, Russian and Uzbek. Yeah.
Cool. So and in USA you started doing SEO.
Yep.
Which year?
So it's 2006.
2006. So how did it started? SEO.
Yeah. So I applied. They called me back. It was Saturday morning, I remember, because I'm a night owl, right? My people, who I work today, my team, they know sometimes I would send a message in the chat at like 3 a.m. something like that. And a lot of people are like me, actually. I was surprised that people are responding there. But it's probably annoying, so I'm sorry for doing that. But I'm a night owl, so I didn't sleep until the morning. And then 7 a.m., it's on Saturday, the guy calls me, the actual owner of the company. It's a small startup at that time. He calls me and says, hey, I saw your application with your resume. Like, come over on Monday, let's talk. Like, I want to invite you for the interview. I said, yeah, for sure. Like, and I dropped and just went back to sleep. And then I woke up somewhere in the midday, and I was like, yeah, I had a call from somebody. So I couldn't find the actual job description, the posting that he made. So I looked up his phone number on the internet to just try to find it. Yeah. Luckily, I found that, and it was like SEO manager job at a company called Mobile Storm. I'm still in friends with Jared, the owner of that company. He's like multimillionaire, very cool guy. So my age, by the way, he's like same age.
So at that time, it was kind of startup, yep.
Yeah, at that time, yeah. Now he's he took off.
Okay.
Like his company is pretty
Can you
strong.
tell a little bit what this company like
Yeah,
does?
it's a multi-channel marketing company. So they
Mm.
do email marketing, SMS marketing, and many other channels. And they have a platform now. They're into healthcare as well. So they help hospitals and clinics with marketing solutions as well. So very cool. It's a platform. It's a SaaS business, like software as a service. Genius guys. But so yeah, he invited me. So basically, I found this job. I didn't know a single thing about SEO. I just knew how to do that in terms of like bringing website to the top of Google.
Like basics.
Just basics, but I had results, right? I had some of my websites ranking on Google for some keywords. So I thought, okay, I'll just show that. But then I thought, no, it's not enough. So I started searching on Google, like what SEO is. And at that time, there was no information. There's like little information.
Even in English.
In English, yeah. It's just a new thing. Like search engines just appeared like a few years, like, and then search engine optimization, of course, is later on. Nobody taught that, but one guy, a very young guy, 20 years old, and I was like 29 at that time, 2006. So he wrote a book called SEO Book, basically. SEObook.com was the domain name available at that time. So he wrote it, and I read it. So I downloaded, read it, and I thought, wow, it's an awesome book. So I basically, in the interview, I just basically everything I learned from that book, I told the guys, and they were like, wow, this is crazy. Nobody told us anything about SEO. Nobody knows
because it was new.
Completely new, brand new information. So that's how I got hired.
Okay, so you started your job as an SEO
manager,
and like when you moved to Microsoft, right after that, or
no, it was long, many years later. So even in that company, I moved up quickly, and he promoted me less than 2 years to the director of online marketing. So I was making more money than his entire sales department. 25 people were like making less than I was, because I was just optimizing, moving, let's say SMS marketing. I got them to the first position in Google, like SMS marketing. So they got a lot of leads who bought their product. So he was really appreciating. But at that time, because I figured out like a lot of things online by myself and started making more money on my own with my own websites. So I told him like, Jared, I'm sorry, I have to quit because
I have my own business.
Making more money. At that time, my salary was like 60,000. I started with 50,000. When he promoted me, he gave me 60,000. He also allowed me to work remotely. I wanted to move back to Florida.
With your parents?
My parents are there, but also California is so expensive. And
for living, yeah.
Yeah, for living. And there's ocean. You can't swim there. Like it's pretty bad. You have to move like 3 hours down to, what was the name? San Diego, right? And then that's where you can actually swim in the ocean, but it's still not like very nice. But in Florida, it's awesome. It's
like what's the most like expensive city, like state in USA?
California, 100%.
California? Not not New York?
Not New York, yeah. California is like way more expensive, plus the taxes are crazy. Like you give away like 40% or something of your income to the state.
So you moved to your own business, and what? Like,
so
how much were you earning from your own business?
Yeah, at one point it was like $47,000 per month was my biggest month.
So you were selling things online, like
no,
drop shipping, or
no, it was web directories. So directories is just a website with other websites classified by different categories, right? So real estate, law, finance, and so on. So yeah, directories just like free. You can add your website and everything, but if you want to stand out and be above others, you have to pay. So that's the business model, right? And it's not monthly; it's just one-time fee, and that's it. So yeah, I had a lot. First, I bought a few. I created a few, and then I bought a few, and then it was doing so well, so I started buying my competitors and then replicating their directories into like clones, right? Some new ones.
Good.
So yeah.
So like at that time, how old were you?
I was like over 30 now. Yeah, 30,
over 30.
30 plus.
So like when you moved to like Microsoft, like it's the most important
part. Most interesting. Okay, so I was doing well. I had many things happened since then till Microsoft. I worked for multiple different startups. I worked in Sweden. I lived in Canada for 2 years, and then I moved to Seattle.
So like you started working at Microsoft not as an IT specialist, to be clear.
Yeah, it was IT. It was called Principal Program Manager. So it's an IT. Like
in Uzbekistan, do we have something like this or not yet?
It's very similar to project and product manager. So it's like a mix. Basically, the program manager, a term is invented at Microsoft. What it means is that it's a combination of project and product. It basically combines the two. Normally, at the principal level, you will have project managers and product managers reporting to you. And project is always something temporary, and product is based on like your app or software or website or game that you manage. You build features, you build the entire product.
Got it.
Yeah.
So like when you studied IT.
Yeah. So that's I think SEO is IT. I strongly believe in it because it's very technical. It's part of digital marketing, and digital marketing is IT as well for me. So it's not just programming, it's not just coding. But so that's where I started, like when I was 29, 2006. But my Microsoft was 2018, so many years later.
How you got there?
Yeah,
did you apply or did they call you?
I applied. Yeah, I applied.
You applied.
I rarely apply. Normally, LinkedIn allowed me. My profile was so good and so well promoted that companies would always reach out and ask me to work for them. But Microsoft, I saw why I applied, because normally I never wanted to work for big companies. I like startup. I like my own business, because big companies are super slow. The processes are very slow. You have to like bureaucracy and everything. So that's why I had a lot of friends there, and I talked to them. I was making fun of them, like, hey, you guys work like slaves in this big corporation. And they're like, well, will they pay well? I didn't know how much they make. It's really a lot of money that they were making. I was thinking that I was making a lot of money.
So were you happy when you worked at Microsoft, or?
Yeah, partially. It was my first huge corporation experience, so I experienced all of these, bureaucracy and the slowness. That's what I wasn't happy about, for sure. But in terms of opportunities, the scale, working with, hundreds, millions, sometimes billions of users, like, Windows has 1 billion users. Office has like close to like more than 500 million users, like Office products, Excel, Word, PowerPoint, Teams. So yeah, I liked it. But how I got there, so I applied. Why I applied is because I saw Windows community. And I built my own social network, Zorker, at that time. It was shut down, but there was like 400,000 users. So I thought, wow, it's community. I love community. So and something, SEO was part of it. That's how I found it on I think it was on LinkedIn or Indeed. I don't remember, because my SEO is a term that I have alerts on. Like whenever there's something comes out with SEO as a job,
it comes out.
Yeah, it will be sent to my Gmail account, and I'll say, oh, it's interesting, especially at the direct level and up. And this is how I found it. I thought, I could do that. So I applied. They responded. Then I learned that they actually rarely respond to applications, because every job that Microsoft posts would have hundreds of people applying for it. So they can't respond to everyone. But then, they responded. They invited me over for the first. They called me. First, it was a recruiter, and then there was a hiring manager, my future boss, Anita George, very cool lady. She's retired as well now, but she's awesome. And so she called me as well, talked to me and said, I like you, so let me invite you to the on-site, like actual formal interview. So they invited me over, whole day interviews, like with multiple people. At that time, there were only 4 people. Normally, when I apply for jobs, it's like, the largest number of people was 10. 10 interviews to get a job. It was like one company in San Francisco. But here, 4 interviews. Most of them liked me. I know one guy didn't like me for sure, because we started arguing in the interview because he was like stupid. But 3 versus 1, they made a decision to hire me, and then for 3 years I worked there.
So you started working at Microsoft from 2018.
Yeah.
And how many years have you worked there?
3 years. I left Microsoft in 2022. So it sounds like 4 years, but no, it's 3 years, a little bit longer than 3 years, because it was November 2018 and then February 2022. Right. So.
Okay. So you started working at Microsoft, and what about salary?
Yeah.
Like everyone is interested about salary. Like everyone, lots of like programmers, they want to work at like Google, Microsoft, Apple, because they're interested in salaries.
Yeah,
so can we hear from an expert?
It's all about the money, right? Yeah. So it's structured differently at big companies. It's not just the salary; it's salary plus bonus plus shares, right? Shares, stocks. So the salary is called base. Right. Yeah. Okay. So the whole thing total is called total compensation, TC. So if you know anybody from these big companies, big tech companies, everybody will talk about not the salary or anything. They will say my TC is this. Right? Okay. So my TC was 400,000
a year.
$400,000.
Was it enough for you?
Yeah, it's more than enough. Like in America, if you make more than 100K, it's more than enough.
Even now?
Yeah, you can afford a nice house, nice car, nice everything. Yeah, it's good money.
Cool.
So it's like after taxes, you end up with like $5,000-6,000 per month, and the rent could be like 2,000-3,000. The rest is just for your life, like basically. But if it's a rent, like I had a house, big house with 3-car garage, and it's paid off, so I didn't have these expenses. So it was.
What about cars? How many cars did you have?
2.
Yeah. What car? Are you actually, to be honest, are you interested in cars or not?
Nah.
Nah?
I call them red car, big car. I don't call them like but yeah, I had Hyundai Tucson, the latest model, 2022 at that time, hybrid. And then the other one was Ford EcoSport. Ford EcoSport.
So you're not that car guy?
No, I just buy something that's not expensive but really nice, and that's it.
Okay, about work. What kind of difficulties have you faced there, or what kind of big problems have you solved at Microsoft?
Okay, so yeah, it's both the greatest thing about Microsoft and the really worst thing is that the scale, right? So it's really interesting to work on the really large scale projects, but on the other hand, it's huge responsibility. You change one little thing, hundreds of millions of people see it and hate you, right? If you did something wrong. And we had these kind of things, or site is not working, something's not loading, 500 errors, things like that. It's always happening. So it's frustrating. But on the other hand, it's very exciting, like, because you do big things, like big tech, big data. It's very, very cool. So I worked on Answers, answers.microsoft.com. It's a community website. It's basically Q&A website, questions and answers. It has 60,000 people, 60 million people per month.
Oh, God.
Like almost 2 Uzbekistans comes every month to that website. Like huge, right? And big team to manage it. A lot of engineers, a lot of PMs, copywriters, support people, designers, and everybody else, leadership.
Okay, can you name 1 or 2 mistakes that you've made in Microsoft?
I don't remember the mistakes, but my role is SEO, so optimization. So when I do a mistake, things might get worse in terms of traffic, right? Traffic that we receive. The majority of traffic came from Google. When I optimize things, it's really hard to break things. So I really didn't do anything that was like causing big issues.
Okay, not you, but your team.
Yeah.
Let's take a team.
As a team, as engineers, we had a day where nothing worked, like the site went down. And even though we have our own hosting, obviously, we're not dependent on anything. It's called Azure, like the cloud. But something happened with Azure at that point. And we lost, every day we'll get 2 million or so people, who couldn't find us anymore. And for me, in terms of SEO, the danger, if it happens a little longer, because Google would visit us every few hours, very often. Normal regular website, they might visit maybe once, twice a week, right? For us, it's hours, right? And so people can't find it. So Google eventually can remove you from their index entirely, and then you lose everything if it happens for multiple days, because it would say okay, where's the website? Maybe it's gone. Out. And then to get back is that to revive everything will take at least maybe 3-4 weeks. You can get back your entire traffic because you're there, your website, your reputation is still there. It's just you're losing. And that's the good thing about that particular website. We didn't make any money. We actually were saving money to Microsoft to support, so people don't have to call to our support agents, which is very expensive for us. They would just ask it or find it, because a lot of answers are already given, because this website is 10 years old at the time, so they could just find it. But we wouldn't be able to save so much money if we don't work even for one day, right? So that what happened. It wasn't their mistake. It was just something technical happened, and they were actually really fast in fixing it. In less than a day, I think they came get the website back online.
So it wasn't your mistake.
Yeah, no. For me, it's because my job is mostly optimization. It's really hard to break things. You can only get things better or keep things as they are.
Cool. So can you name 3 things that you learned from Microsoft?
First of all, it's social skill, communication, because there's so many different people, the entire world.
You mean networking,
Networking, yeah. 200,000 employees, right? You can imagine. It's a lot of big company. Many people from India. I think third of the companies from India, and they speak very interesting English, which is not that easy to understand if you never talked to them before. And for me, it was my first experience, and also a little bit some cultural things that unique to these guys and girls. So that's one thing. So it improves your social intelligence, emotional intelligence, if you will. The second. You know why it's so bureaucratic. You start to understand these things. For instance, to send one email like externally outside of Microsoft, I had to take permission from 5 different teams, like spam team, legal team. There's some kind of accessibility team, like for people with disabilities, so they could make sure that they can read it. No contrast colors. You can use your mouse instead of your mouse, you can use your keyboard with tabs to move things around, things like that. 2 other teams, and so I was like really frustrated. Why do I have to do so much work to just send one single email?
Yeah.
But then they explained it to me. Microsoft is so huge. Today it's number 1 company in the world. $3 trillion valuation. There's no other company above 3 trillion. Apple is number 2 right now.
Number 2.
Number 2. They used to be number 1 for number
They're
of
like
years.
competitors.
Super, but number 1 competitor for us, especially in terms of products and everything.
Yep.
Plus, there's Steve Jobs and Bill Gates competed like even when they were younger. But number 1 company, obviously everybody's after Microsoft. They want to sue them. They want to go to court, right, to take legal measures. So if you do anything wrong, there are a lot of people who want to take you down, right? So that's why they're trying to make everything right away.
It's not kind of small market, you mean?
Yeah.
So, okay, you worked in Microsoft, and why you decided to leave Microsoft, or was it your choice, to be honest?
It's my choice, yeah. So I actually got bored a little bit because when you do the same thing all the time, like 3 years for me especially is too much.
So you weren't interested into money? Yep.
No, I was fine because I had my own business already. But it's not about the money. It's more like about making something more exciting. And also, you have to do it, by the way. Like I recommend to everybody to exercise your interview skills, your ability to present yourselves. If you keep working, let's say 10 years at the same company, right? Yeah, you're a very solid, nice employee for that company, right? But then nobody will remember that you worked that hard except for your family, right? The company will just replace you in a second. So don't be that loyal. Be loyal to yourself and try different things. Actually, it's a good career track if you change companies like every 2-3 years or so. But so yeah, for me it was like I got bored. It's not in my nature. I usually change things pretty quickly. So 3 years was actually a lot. So I said, okay, let me use my own system, which I called numbers game. Like apply as much as I can and see what happens. So I applied to so many different jobs, and I got 24 companies interested in me. So it was like very interesting.
So like big companies or
big and small.
Big and small.
Different. There was Zoom, there was Dell, there was like this Bolt company, TopTel, JP Morgan. There was like some big names as well, but many startups as well. Good. But 24 companies responded. Normally, when you do the interviews, right, something you can't ask, which is not, they just don't recommend to do, is like you ask right away how much you're paying. Right? They said never ask that. It's very unprofessional.
So like it is advice for youngsters, yeah.
Yeah, so normally don't do that. Like, but if like me, you were making a lot of money, like 400,000, it's okay to ask because not many people can afford it. Not many companies. So I asked them like, listen, I didn't even ask like how much you're paying. I just said like, listen, I make $400,000 a year. Can you afford it? I want more. It's not enough. Okay. Because I wouldn't just change the job for the same money.
So you mean if you're junior like or middle, don't ask for money.
No,
but
never.
If you're like specialist, senior, you are allowed.
You can, yeah. Because you wouldn't waste time. Like, and that's what happened. Like out of 24 companies, only 11 companies said yes, we can afford it. The other 13 said, wow, our budget is $250,000 per year for this role, for director level. Like JP Morgan, big companies said like, no, we can't afford it. So shortlisted 11 companies. All wanted to do interviews. I couldn't because it's just too many. So I tried. I shortlisted 6 of those and went through the entire full circle of the interview rounds. Right. Sometimes it's 4, 5, 6, 7. Like it depends on the company. So in the end, I had 6 full cycle interviews, and I got 2 offers, very fast. And those 2 offers, and that's where I tried to do my best.
Which companies?
Like TopTel and Bolt.
TopTel and Bolt. So Zoom is out.
Zoom actually wanted to give an offer, but they were late. So that was my 3rd offer. Was coming, but I didn't want to work with them. I didn't like the hiring manager who I interviewed with. But these 2 were my best ones, and I thought, if they gave me an offer, that would be awesome. So they both gave it over the weekend. And TopTel was late, so the guy, the owner, Tasso, amazing guy, he makes $300 million a year as a company. Okay. $300 million. Cool. One guy. He no investors, no nothing. The company is 3,000 employees. Very cool. And they have 0 offices. They're completely remote. They're one of the first IT companies that went completely remote way before COVID. Way before. So very cool company.
Cool.
So he gave me a really nice offer, $550,000, and 10 directors under me, because it was senior director role. But Bolt gave me vice president role and 4 directors, less directors, but in 4 different countries, and 665,000 per year, so much better. But Tasso, talked to me. He said, like, no, I want to talk to. He spent like 90 minutes to convince me to work for them, and he has a good company, and I don't regret anything, but he's awesome. So I think I would be as happy to work for him as well, like I did with working for Bolt. But I only worked there for 3 months, actually, because at that time we decided to move back to Uzbekistan.
Why?
I had a lot of requests. So first of all, I told my wife, we can keep making more and more money. It's more than enough already for us. It's good for our entire life. We calculated until we're 90, like 90 years old, including inflation and everything. Plus, I don't live off my money that I saved. I invest.
For your children as well, or
for everything, like for entire life.
Okay.
And then, that's one of the reasons, right? Why keep working hard when you can just enjoy life, and give back? And we wanted to give back here because there's more need here. There's a lot of requests started coming in from different people with help, right? Help from IT.
Like from IT Park, you mean, or
No,
government?
from just regular folks, like young guys and girls who said, like, can you help me to get the job at Microsoft or Amazon? Can you help me to understand how do I apply to Stanford or MIT, or can you help me to move to America or something like that? Because there was a guy, his name is Shavkat Karimov. He made a movie called Silicon Valley with Uzbeks working in these big companies, big tech companies, and I was in that movie as well, giving
really?
kind of interview. Yeah, so that's
was it kind of for YouTube?
Yeah, it's YouTube.
Is it kind of subjective, or
no? He has his own channel, Shavkat Karimov. Check him out on YouTube. He's pretty big followership as well. I think like 60,000 people, something maybe more. So he made this movie about Uzbeks working there. I was in that movie as well, and I gave some interview, and maybe that's how some people found about me. So I thought, okay, let me scale it up. So I wanted to come back here, invest, mentor, give back, basically. I didn't expect it would be that large of a scale that it turned out to be with IT community and everything, but that was my plan. But mainly, let me be honest with you, I just wanted to relax and enjoy life.
Chill.
Chill.
So you have worked a lot and you want to chill.
It's time to chill, because I was 45 already, so I thought, okay, it's time to chill.
So you came to Uzbekistan in 2023?
2022.
2022. Okay, what was
July
the first thing that you have done?
Yeah, so July 1st at night, 1 a.m., I'm landing in the Tashkent airport. For a number of times I did it, so hopefully for the last time. Actually, no, in May I'm traveling to Russia. A big conference that I'll be a speaker, so it will be one more. I like it here. I don't want to move away from here. So I've landed. I'm not in taxi, but my brother, my dad, saw me there and took me back home. And it's Tashkent city at night. I'm looking around. Everything is different.
Has changed a lot.
Everything has changed. And haven't been here for 7 years at least. I came here for like 2 months, and then before that 9 years ago also for like 2-3 months. But overall, 25 years living abroad and everything. And I was like, what are you doing?
Yep.
You have no plans, like certain plans. You don't know what to do. You don't know where to live. I didn't have any houses or anything here.
So you sold your house in America?
Yeah, I sold everything. Yeah,
okay.
Cars and house. I do have my accounts there. I do have my stocks there, obviously, but nothing else. A virtual address. I do have an address there because I have a lot of mail. I have like stocks and banks and everything. But so I came here with that kind of unknown feeling, like what's gonna happen. And it was night, so I went to sleep. I talked to my parents and everything, so I went to sleep. And then new day. So we started with real estate. We thought, okay, let's invest our money because we got a lot of money. I moved here over $1 million in Uzbekistan. So I started buying left and right. Actually, a lot of realtors know me now because I wear my actually my shirt, which is like blue and white. It's a stripes kind of shirt that they knew me. Oh, that guy, like, and the cap right there. The cap guy. So because they knew like I was.
So you didn't start it in IT?
No.
Okay.
No, because I thought let me first take care of my money, so I want to rent it out. So and that's what I did. So first July to about October or so, like about 4 months or so, I was just investing in real estate because real estate is the most solid investment because only like something big happens like earthquake or something or war, then your money is under risk, but otherwise it's pretty safe and it always growing in value. That's the benefit. Plus it makes you money because you rent it out. Yeah, you'll return your money in average in about 8 years, and then it's like, and in the 8 years, it's probably gonna grow 30 to 40%.
Okay, approximately how many money have you invested in real estate here in Uzbekistan?
Probably, close to $1 million, something.
Close to $1 million.
Yeah.
Okay, so you invested your money, then, so what's next?
All right, so then I thought, okay, I need to invest into companies as well. So I didn't find any. I didn't like any. So I looked, I talked to a lot of people. People come to me and say, like, can you invest into our company? I was like, no.
Even though big IT companies?
No, big, I don't have that much money. They want like probably tens of millions of dollars. Probably.
Okay.
I don't want to do that because it's super risky as well. I thought, okay, let me move some money to Uzbekistan and see what happens because I still think that in America my money is safer. Safer there. Plus, it's a lot of those are in stocks, and stocks just keep growing. Especially Microsoft right now and Amazon. But so I thought, let me do that. I see now I have solid income. Now I can relax. Everything is good. It's not as passive as I thought. You have to deal with renters and make sure everything is right there. But I hired one girl who's like doing all of these things plus some reporting to some of those, like especially commercial real estate. You have to report blah blah blah, things like that. Taxes as well. It's not that easy as I thought. But overall, it's like solvable. So in October, end of October, actually somewhere in November, the last one that we bought for ourselves, like 2-story mansarda kind of apartment, big one, 260 square meters.
Okay.
And so my wife didn't like the design and everything, so we thought, okay, let's change it. So we moved away again. Then I was so bored, so I wrote this post saying like 25 years later, I'm back to Uzbekistan. And a little bit about my impression about those crazy taxi drivers, they want to kill you all the time. And then there is like the food is amazing, right? Everything that my first impressions.
Okay, what was the top 3 things that you didn't like when you came to Uzbekistan?
So the ecology, for sure. Yeah, I couldn't breathe, especially it was summertime. Then when we came, it was super hot, and then it was so dusty, like we couldn't breathe. Seattle is actually the cleanest area in the world, like Switzerland, because there are a lot of lakes, a lot of trees. Yeah, it's called Evergreen State, like Washington. So that's why probably it's like after that coming same day, almost like it's like 124.
It was a huge change,
and you like can't breathe. We started coughing, like both of us. That's one. So ecology is still huge issue. Second, the culture of driving and even passerbys as well, but mostly drivers. Terrible. Also super busy. Like there are a lot of traffic jams here right now. Too many cars. That's why, as a principle, both me and my wife, she also drives. We don't drive here. We don't buy cars. As a principle, we only use taxi or public transportation because we want 2 less cars in Uzbekistan. So that's the second reason why I didn't like. And third, later on, I started speaking at many different universities. Like I spoke at probably every single IT university in Tashkent for sure, and some other regions. Samarkand, Karshi, Zarafshan, and Navai, the 4 cities I spoke at. Education level is pretty low, unfortunately. Yeah. I spoke at Astrom. I loved that experience. Some of those are actually nice. Yes, some I like Astrom guys, but I like a few other universities. But in general, it's super low.
So okay, you invested your money, and when you started, when you started your career IT in Uzbekistan.
So in Uzbekistan, when I became kind of a little bit famous in the world of IT, local IT Park reached out to me and said, can we meet? We want to talk to you. And I met with them and they said, listen, we have this idea. We want to launch an IT community. And we want you to lead this, to be the head of IT community. What would be your terms? And I said, my only term is to be independent from you. Right? Okay. Because you're a government organization partially, right? Because they are the ministry. And you have some tasks given to you from above. I don't want to be part of that.
I want to be free.
I want to be free. And that helped us a lot because that's why we grew so fast, so easily, because nobody told us what to do and how to do that. We decide. I solely decide with my team of leaders. Like we have now 10 people in leadership and almost 200 people. Actually, today is going to be 200 volunteers at IT Community of Uzbekistan. We just reached 6,000 members in the community on LinkedIn, which is very hard to do.
Good. Congratulations.
So thank you. Appreciate it. So that's how I started. It was January 2022.
So idea wasn't yours?
No, not mine. Yeah, not mine.
But you accepted it?
Yeah, I accepted it. We all work for free. I work for free. My entire team of leadership works for free. And my entire team of volunteers work for free. And my personal assistants work for free. Everybody. And that's, that's better than if you hire people for money, because they are more motivated.
Okay,
they are here for different reasons.
What kind of benefit do you and like your team get while working for free?
We're in the center of the IT world of Uzbekistan. We know everything. We meet with a lot of people. We were able to combine the team of really amazing, like-minded, amazing people, brilliant people. Our internal language is English. We have a lot of real accounts who don't speak Uzbek. We have a lot of local people who don't speak Russian.
Let's imagine there are some followers who want to be in your team. How can they make it?
So itcom.uz.
Okay, I'll put the link below.
Yeah, please go there, apply. There's a link to apply if you want to. Now we're looking to hire more volunteers. It's actually, if you follow me on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram, everywhere I posted an announcement last week, I think, or the week before, that we hire more volunteers. We do it every 3-4 times a year, every 3 or 4 months. And the requirements are pretty simple. First of all, you need to speak English fluently, speak and understand English, obviously, read and write as well. The minimum is 5.5 IELTS that we require, or B2, I think, right? That's level. But so it's not that high actually. But we also ask you to record a 1-minute video, short video about yourself in English, so we understand: are you reading some lines from ChatGPT, or are you just actually saying stuff? And we ask you 3 questions. Tell us about yourself. Tell us why you want to work for us, and what are you going to bring on the table? What are you giving us?
Okay. So top 3 things that your community get while working for free.
So they get networking.
First, networking,
because they meet like-minded people, and also pretty famous people in Uzbekistan, because we interview them as well right here at RadioTube. And also we meet a lot of companies, and also they get internships.
Opportunities, you mean?
Internship opportunities. So now we've partnered with IT Berlin, the organization, a very cool organization, because they're doing it at scale. We already have 2 people getting internship at Humans, the company. We work with TBC Bank, Humans, Beeline, many organizations, Zoom, EPAM, whatever is, you've heard, it's a nice big company, they're most likely our partner. So we try to make sure that they get these. Third, we have this Future Leaders program, internal, only for volunteers, where we give free, exclusive master classes from different big experts. The first one was to Rahmat. He is one of the best videographers of the country. He works officially for the Ministry of Digital Technologies. For free, he came with his model, with his equipment, expensive equipment and everything, and taught us photography, mobilography, and videography. Second was Igor Kim, a very bright entrepreneur, young entrepreneur of Uzbekistan. His company is making over $1 million a year right now, sitting in Uzbekistan. And he taught us how to get from 0 to 1. Because a lot of these young folks, they dream about startups, right? So he said, okay, it's awesome, but it wouldn't be easy. And he gave us his personal life examples, how it was for him, and how it's going to be for them, what to expect, and how to overcome those barriers. And number 3 was Ivan Doronin, that we brought from Dubai. And he talked about career as a project, how to make it in your career in IT particularly.
So about IT community, so how do you see the future of IT community, only in Uzbekistan or around the world?
So yeah, we're local. We don't want to go. We want to be part of the global community. That's why we're on LinkedIn. So everything we write, everything we do there is part of the stream for everybody who is somehow either part of our community or friends or connections. It's called connections on LinkedIn of our members, right? We call our members as citizens of IT Community of Uzbekistan. But it's a local project, obviously. So we want to make sure, and it's pretty huge potential. When we started, we've calculated TAM. TAM is total addressable market. So how many IT professionals are here in Uzbekistan? We thought it's around 200,000 people. including students who study in different IT universities, academy schools, and so on, working professionals, entrepreneurs, and people who are just interested in IT. So we still have plenty, long way to go, plenty of opportunities in Uzbekistan, but globally, there are now some interests coming from our neighboring countries like Kazakhstan,
from Central Asia,
Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan. We do talk to them. We might join forces at one point. Why not?
We collaborate.
I see some kind of Central Asian community in like 10 years or something like that. IT community, maybe. But they're growing on their own. I talk to some leaders here and there. Like in Turkmenistan, there's a nice, beautiful lady called, her name is Maral. She's like my alternative for Turkmenistan. She's leading IT community, very active. She does GDD fasts there. Like here we have GDD, like Nuruddin is doing that, like some other guys. We have like other things like, digital generation, right? Rakamli, Avlot, I think it's called. And then there's Ibrat studios, right? Like there's many different. Yoshlar Zindagi has their own, and they do some IT projects as well, like many others. But there she's just the one who does everything basically. But they're very small compared to us, right? So yeah.
So how do you see Uzbekistan after 5 years? Like
as a country. As a country, right?
No, like as a country, as a nation. Like when I talked with lots of like people as well. Like they say like IT is kind of one of the best ways of the growth in Uzbekistan, and I want to hear your opinion.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's 100%. IT is our way out, basically.
Yeah. Okay. Can you explain it why? Because lots of people may say, okay, why IT? Why not construction or other stuff?
Yeah, because IT helps automate things and do it at scale, massive scale, right? No other industry, construction, healthcare, law, government, even like anything else, it can't do it at scale like IT, because IT helps you to automate things, like make it on autopilot, basically do nothing, the machines work, right? The technology works, and then that's why IT companies have products with hundreds, millions or billions of users, right? Impossible with any other field. So that's why. Also, IT is really well paid. There's a lot of interest, especially one of the most modern part of IT, AI and ML, right? Artificial intelligence and machine learning. These two has most eyes right now in the world. And if we start developing in that direction, we'll move even faster. So that's, and then what it means is that we start creating products that are going to be used worldwide, and then a lot of money will start coming into our country.
Like investing.
Investing, and also users can pay. Like, TikTok is a Chinese company, ByteDance, right? So everything that they make comes back to China, right? Wargaming is a Belarusian company, right? It's a game, right? So all the money they make go to their owners, who are sitting probably not in Belarus, but somehow they will help the country as well. I hope our leaders, the startup founders, and everybody will live here, and the money will stay here and be distributed in our economy.
So if there's kind of Uzbek guy sitting like watching this podcast and he's deciding like what career to choose, you decide. Like your advice is
IT, obviously, but it's not for everyone.
But as you know, like in IT, there are lots of spheres.
Yeah, for sure. A lot. Like it's not about coding, right? Even in coding.
IT is not only about coding. Like some people may understand like IT is a guy who like sitting on laptop all day coding. Like
not only. Even in coding, there are multiple, right? Depends on the language and the framework, right? And also front and back end and then full stack for both. But outside of programming, there's digital marketing, SEO particularly, SMM as well. Copywriting, product management, project management, and program management. Then there are beta testing, then game development, right, for games, design, UX design, UI design,
AI,
graphic design, AI, ML engineers as well, prompt engineers as well. So there's tons of professions.
So about Central Asia, in Central Asia, I think we are the best countries in terms of IT.
I wouldn't say so. I think Kazakhstan is better.
Kazakhstan is better.
Yeah, they're more advanced right now. We are growing faster. So at one point, I think it's a matter of time now when we'll overcome them. You could overcome them. But right now, I think they're bigger, better. Kaspi is doing really well as the company. It's internal only, but they're like unicorn. Now Uzum in Uzbekistan became a unicorn as well, like over $1 billion valuation.
So about AI. like AI is changing like a lot over the past 2 or 3 years, like ChatGPT, Gemini, Devin, and so on.
Yeah.
So the thing is that like nowadays, do you see like some like AI projects in Uzbekistan? Like you have lots of networking with lots of like IT guys.
Yep.
So after 3 or 2 years, will be kind of AI that is like from Uzbekistan or not?
There are products like that already. So Mukhlisa by Uzinfacom. It's basically like Alexa or Alisa.
So is it from Uzum? It's from Uzum.
No, it's from Uzinfacom.
Uzinfacom.
Yeah, it's kind of government organization.
Uh-huh.
They are registered, so they first of all everything .uz domain names. It's them who are issuing those domain names, so they are ICANN registered to register, and then also they do some other technical solutions with like I don't remember which ones, but a lot. But so they came up with this Mukhlisa project. Basically, it's Alisa or Alexa, and now BYD factories being built in Uzbekistan, right? So inside those BYDs that are built in Uzbekistan, there will be Mukhlisa. So you'll be as a driver be able to talk to Uzbek to this ML AI.
What about Mohira? Like, have you heard?
So Mohira, yes, Mohir Dev created Mohira. It's also pretty nice. I never experienced it yet, so they didn't show me yet. But eventually, I know the concept, basically same thing, basically like your assistant, right, as a machine. And then there's a guy, Don Yorbek, I think is his name, who created Yordamchi, a Telegram bot based on ChatGPT. Very cool project. They're doing another project very interesting in terms of translations with Uzbek language. So that's another AI-driven product.
So by all you mean is that after 2 or 3 years, Uzbeks will have a lot of like AIs to use.
Yeah, it's getting easier. There's the entry barrier is lowering down right now. It used to be like you need to have huge clouds, huge opportunities for processing data and storing data. But now it's easier because there's AutoGPT that you can actually install on your machine and run some models. But so there are some more opportunities. Apple is creating one that you can basically run your models on your iPhone basically. So I'm an Android guy, so I don't Apple, but I know that it's coming out. So Windows 11 has AI built in as well. So it's everywhere.
So like, if you talk about Uzbekistan, can you name top 3 the biggest IT companies in Uzbekistan?
Uzum is definitely number 1 based on valuation. I wouldn't say it's the best, but it's by size at least. I'm they all are my friends, so if I don't name somebody, they will be like, why don't you name us? If I name somebody, they would say like, no, like, oh.
No, if you talk about with numbers, like first is Uzum.
Uzum is next. In terms of valuation. I don't know who is next. I would say East Games is next. East Games is they are bringing $41 million every year to Uzbek economy. It's a gaming company. They're actually sister company of Wargaming.
Good.
It used to be Leicester Games, now it's East Games. They separated. Third, maybe Palm. Maybe.
Okay.
But that's just an outsourcing company.
Okay, cool. So you worked at lots of like companies. Like in Uzbekistan, like I know lots of programmers who have learned programming for 2 years, for a year, but when it comes to finding a job, they like it's kind of difficult for them. First, they don't know language like English, and second of all, they cannot use LinkedIn properly. So can you give some advice for them? Like how can they find like just imagine I'm a junior developer. I know like backend like very well, and I've been like learning and coding or like 1 year and 1.5 years, and I'm finding a job not only in Uzbekistan but overall.
Okay. So first of all, let me give you some context about Uzbek market. There are a lot of junior developers, right? A lot, like huge numbers. And companies don't need juniors. Whenever I talk to IT recruiters, and I do talk to them a lot, they say, no, we need middle level and seniors, right? So that's the gap, right? You either need to quickly, and that's my number 1 suggestion to young generation, don't just learn things, apply it right away, build products. Because you'll move from junior to middle faster.
Like for your portfolio.
For portfolio, yeah. First of all, in the interview, you'll be able to show something that you've done with some traction, with some numbers. So and that's much better than just like talking some theory. Yeah. Right. Even if you solve some lead code tasks, on the whiteboard, it's still better to that will
show
happen for sure. Yeah, but show your portfolio work. So then you move to middle level, and that's you have way more chances to be hired, both internally on Uzbek market, but also globally. Because people, the companies, we want people with experience, basically. That's number one. Second, English, yes, definitely learn English. You'll make more money simply by doing the same thing, right? So it's very easy. Also, any programming language is actually English. If you think about, in the future of programming is going to be prompt based, where you don't have to actually write code. You will have to write sentences saying, "Hey, I want a database
like an AI,
like you use this prompting." So learn prompting.
What do you think about freelancing in Uzbekistan?
Yeah. Also, I have some stats that somebody built for me. Very, very interesting. And I know Upwork is most popular as a platform, but also freelancer.com. And then there's guru.com. And there's some smaller ones like, micro workers, rapid workers, mechanical turk. But those are like micro tasks. A major one is Upwork.
Yeah.
So I think it's an amazing opportunity for Uzbek youth, particularly. We have a project called Road Show. That launches in October this year. We'll start traveling in a bus, a big bus. We'll go across the country and teach freelancing and AI, so they could scale their freelancing efforts, and also career, and also a few other things like learning how to learn, because we believe that it's an important skill. Because for somebody sitting in Bukhara or Samarkand, one of our regions, making $300, $400, $500 per month is not bad, right? It's actually, as a young person, young guy or young girl, you can live off that money, right? But for Upwork, it's nothing. Like a lot of people do make that much money. So we want to make sure our workforce can step into that game and start making at least $500, maybe $1,000 per month, with no bosses, no schedules, nothing, just customers that you work for. I know one girl in Uzbekistan, her name is Aziza. She's making $100,000 per year, sitting in Uzbekistan as a UX designer on Upwork.
Oh, God.
No other source income, just Upwork as a freelancer. $100,000.
So you think like freelancing has a future in Uzbekistan?
Oh, yeah, for sure. We, overall, I want them to build products, but this is one of the ways for them to learn how to build products, how to create stuff. It might be also, by the way, again, it's not about coding. Only coding, right? It's great. You'll make more money as a developer, right? Web developer, or software developer, or game developer, right? Or app developer, mobile developer. But as a UX designer, or as a copywriter, or as a translator, like use ChatGPT. Better use DeepL. It's much better. It's like AI-driven. Google Translate is also AI-driven, but like it's so instant, right? You translate, you rewrite, or even writing articles no more required for you to personally write actual stuff. You just use ChatGPT. Sure. It's a good help. It wouldn't do the job for you yet. It's not as great, especially even Claude 3 beats ChatGPT 4 by all the criteria, but still, and it's not available in Uzbekistan unfortunately yet. But they are helpers. They're great helpers, but you have to do it by yourself. So that's what we're gonna teach people when we start traveling with our roadshow, because we do believe in freelancing as a future, as well as one of the steps, kind of milestones for us to move into startup culture, to start building products.
Okay, I don't know, have you seen or not? There's kind of AI called Devin. Have you seen it?
Yeah, it's an engineer, it's software engineer.
Software engineer first, AI software engineer assistant. Like I have a friend, to be honest. I think you saw him or not at Asrum. Like he kind of worries about, like he says like, okay, do I have to change my job? What are your thoughts about Devin?
Yeah, Devin, based on what I hear from really top engineers worldwide, from OpenAI, from Microsoft, from other companies, they are impressed. They said, wow, this is amazing. This thing.
Have you used or not?
No. I know one guy here in Uzbekistan. Actually, I met him yesterday. He told me that he used Devin. And he says like, yeah, it's pretty interesting. He wasn't as impressed, but he's a kind of junior, so maybe he didn't understand everything. But because the more you advance, then you start thinking about architecture of the code and the system design, right? So bigger things, and that's what Devin probably is even stronger. So, but maybe not. I don't know. I never used it. But the thing is that what I know for sure, there will be more Devins, and they are gonna be better. Every tech company will start developing their own, because it's so much cheaper than us hiring people.
No, the question was, so there are lots of like AIs like Devin. Like, as you say, like, is it kind of worrying for developers? Do they have to change their jobs, or?
Yeah,
What?
it will wipe out a lot of developers. Yes,
Like juniors, you mean?
juniors for sure. Juniors number one, but everyone, even seniors, wipe out. But there will be different type of job in engineering, mostly based on prompting. As long as you understand what you want to build and you have technical mind, you can calculate and work with data, you'll be fine because AI will just help you do your job, right? So for those who use their mind, I would say it's not that dangerous. But for everyone else, which is the majority, it's going to be super dangerous because most people just do simple, trivial, basically things in IT, unfortunately. So yeah, you should be worried if you're a junior. 100%, you should start improving your skills, AI skills. Again, you should learn ML as well. You should start working, training data, everything that's people talk when it comes to ML and AI. You need to learn because that will secure your future in terms of career. That's for sure.
Cool. So it was about IT. Let's a little bit talk about Uzbekistan. So before you talked about 3 negative things that you didn't like. Okay, let's start with education. Do you have any ideas? Like, how can we change it?
Yeah, I have a couple of ideas. One is it's all about teachers. When it comes to education, it comes down to teachers, right?
You mean from the school?
School and universities and all the centers and everything, but school is number one. So I'll give you some stats. There are 10,000 schools in Uzbekistan, 500,000 teachers, and about 2 million kids studying at schools at the same time. There's 1 to 11. And so 500,000 teachers, a lot of people who are not as qualified as they should be. So the problem is there. If we start improving the quality of our teachers, pay them better, and help them grow professionally as teachers, then we will solve it like big time already. This is one. Second, there are 3. I'll give you 3 reasons. Second, it's not still as reputable to be educated somehow in Uzbekistan. It's better to be, let's say, to work for some police or some government or some maybe SNB, like this kind of organizations.
But it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be like that. Yeah, you should be proud that you're well educated, that you speak well or write well, right? That you read books and things like that. So I think we need to improve the reputation of education, basically. Right? So people have to. Smart people should be the most interesting people for the society, not
most respected people.
Not respected people, not rich people, not people having different authority, like working somewhere, but smart people. That is coming eventually, thanks to IT as well. Because in IT, we don't care how much money you make or like where you work. Like as long as you're smart, everybody respects you, right? If you do great things. And third, technology. So our schools are pretty well technically advanced, more or less, because they told me, I've talked to the Ministry of Education.
Like, have you seen?
I know they're ugly. I know some schools are ugly, but they told me that every school has 3 smart boards. Smart boards like TV screen that you can use like PowerPoint.
No, the thing is that okay, let's imagine we have a smart board, but we don't have anyone who can use it properly.
Exactly, that's the problem. So they take the smart board, put it somewhere in the warehouse, close it in the packing.
They will show it when minister will come.
Exactly, and but why they do it? They told me, I said like, why are they doing this? It's stupid. And they said, well, they are afraid to break it.
Yeah. Right? Actually,
so
I had the same experience when I was studying at school. When I touched that screen, the teacher was, don't touch.
And it's hard to break actually, unless you start throwing it. Yeah.
And one of the things that like I'm young, as you know, like from my experience, lots of teenagers experience that. When they're young, they have lots of, don't do this, don't take this, don't touch this. And they'll be kind of afraid of doing something new, taking risks. Right? Like I see lots of teenagers like from, not in Tashkent, but from other regions. They're like afraid to talk. Like, for example, they say something and I say my argument and they're just like, okay.
Oh, they can't even count.
Yeah, they don't know how to debate. They don't know how to talk, and it's something that shouldn't be.
It's sad. It's sad. So that's how we can fix it, right? We can say, no, you can't break it. Don't worry. It's okay. Use it. No problem. For kids as well, don't listen. Just try it. Like even if it's illegal, like go open it in the warehouse and use it because it's awesome. It's much better than just use the whiteboard or like whatever green board that they use with the chalk and everything. So
So you talk about school. What about university?
University, it's a little different story. So again, gets to teachers right away, right? Because I talked to teachers, I spoke to teachers publicly. Like I wouldn't say the university, but there was one university with 300 professors that listened to me. They gathered them so I could teach them in terms of search, like how to search for information and how to validate it. Very low level, unfortunately, based on the questions that they ask and everything. So we need to improve the quality of teachers at the university big time. It's improving because I see a lot of private universities right now. They pay good money. They can pay like $3,000-$4,000 per month to these teachers, and those are nice teachers. I met one guy, for instance, the other day. I wouldn't say the university as well. His name is Mahmoud John. I think he's one of the top AI experts in the country. He's a professor at that university, and brilliant. So we want teachers like that.
We need teachers like that.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Even if we bring them over from other countries or develop them here, they need to be here.
And what was the first problem? Like air pollution. Do you have any solutions in terms of IT, in terms of like innovation?
So we are doing an IT EcoFest this May 4th and 5th, very soon, about 1 month. And so we believe that, we need to spread awareness about this problem for sure. And then part of this event is going to be a hackathon. How do we solve it technically? So come up with a product that will analyze or offer solutions or, minimize the, pollution in Uzbekistan, like from factories, from cars, from everywhere, from construction. And these are the three actually kind of evils, right? So the cars, the construction, and the factories, right? That they make our air worse. So these are the first step. It's going to be big. We expect about 400, 500 IT people to our festival at Astron, by the way.
It will be at Astron.
Yeah. On the 4th of May, and then 5th of May, it's going to be at the Central Park, the center of the city, formerly Telman's Park, but Central Park right now. We expect 5,000 to 8,000 people there. So a lot of people. Huge team of volunteers. Of our volunteers are going to work on that. A lot of people we invite. There will be some big stars, who will sing there and perform. There will be different tournaments, chess tournament, ping pong tournament. Cool. There will be a lot of master classes. There will be a separate room with just movies about ecology, so people are aware of. We are partnering with a bunch of organizations, one of which is Wasteless, people who actually know how to sort the trash, the right way, how to, clean the streets and everything, clean the country and the city. So we want to make sure that it's going to be annual, and every year it's going to be one of the biggest events in IT in Uzbekistan, but with ecology in focus. Right. Okay. So that's what we do. Okay. In general, I think one of the ideas that I suggest, less cars, right? Less construction, because it's just crazy. It's too much, right? And people don't even live in this new.
No, I know, but I've watched some podcasts. And they say we do this kind of constructions because we want more tourists. And I was like,
tourists don't live they just come and go. But the apartments they're building is for people to live, right? So that's stupid. So we need to figure out how to keep it down. I mean, construction overall is fine, right? Especially if you go outside, like they're building this new Tashkent, right? Tashkent, right? 500,000 people, so everything. So it's all right.
And it's not in the city; it's outside of, and it's okay. It's okay
because that doesn't create traffic jams. So what they do with this new construction, right? The utilities, right? Utilities. Same thing. It goes under the city, same pipes, same engines and everything. They just basically built into existing system without building their own pipes, their own everything. And now us living in normal houses, right, in apartments, always experience some lack of water, or the electricity problems. Even in the center of the city, there's some electricity problem.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It shouldn't be happening, right? We're big megapolis, like huge city. Almost 4 million people now in Tashkent. Why is it happening? I'll tell you why. Because of this construction. Because they don't do it properly. But that also creates a problem with pollution, because construction creates a lot of dust. Cars drive around and move that dust to the air, and we breathe that air, and then we get sick. So that's a big problem. Less cars, less construction, less factories,
less air pollution.
And there will be less air pollution.
From your words, I have one question to ask: are you a patriot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So you lived half of your year in US,
Yeah.
but you're a patriot.
Yeah. It's possible because you don't have to live here to love your country, and you can love your country when you. I know some people who don't like our government, previous and current. They love Uzbekistan though. So it's not about if you love what's happening, it's about you love your land, and you can help even if you live
You love your
abroad.
nation.
So I don't judge people who live abroad as long as they, even if they don't help, because somehow they still help. They don't know. Sometimes they talk to somebody who moved there and need help there, so that's how they help their own people, right? But I'm a patriot for sure, always been, and now you see I do so much for Uzbekistan with IT community, with helping investing in local companies. I recently invested in Yoto. You know Yoto, the scooters,
I think.
electric scooters. So they're purely 100% local company, and almost every other electric scooter company in Uzbekistan are not local.
Yeah,
So
you mean like Jet and others?
Jet is Kazakhstan, right? Others like there are some multiple Russian, like 2 or 3. The next biggest one Russian. Yotta is number 2 right now by the size. Gonna be number 1 eventually, I hope. But with my help, I hope. So yeah,
so the last question: top 3 advice for youngsters
in general,
like in Uzbekistan for Uzbek youngsters.
Youngsters, okay. Be a patriot, love Uzbekistan, don't leave. If you leave, come back. That's totally fine if you leave, but come back. That's number 1. Study. Learn how to learn. Life is an eternal education. You have to, if you stop learning, everybody will be, way before you, right? It's a race. Life is a race, basically. Once you stop developing, you're stopping and everybody's running still. So you will be late in the race. So keep learning. And 3, never give up.
Yep.
Never give up on your dream.
So thank you very much. It was a great podcast with you. Hope you see you again. And thanks. This is the end of our podcast, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Abdulaziz. Appreciate it. That was
Thanks.
awesome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Oh, God.